name is Huang Xin. In Chinese, it writes like this. I was born in a beautiful water town outside downtown Shanghai in the year of dog, but I decided to be a tiger after my first trip to the zoo at the age of 5. My childhood memory was full of rural fun. I was in charge of a few chickens and to collect their eggs back home every day. My brother, however, had a much challenging job than me to look after our family pig, and often he had to drag the pig home from our neighbor's vegetable garden. After dinner, my father liked to take us sit by the lake watching fishermen boat coming back home, and taught us the key concept of Chinese philosophy, harmony, that is, nature and human are organic one. Under my father's influence, I grew up with a passion about book, especially classic literature and the poem. I enjoyed reading and writing beautiful articles in Chinese calligraphy. I also liked to play music with my friends. That's when I learned when to lead and when to follow. As I grew older, I liked to spend my spare time in mountains, picturing myself carving beautiful words into the rock on the cliff like a master calligrapher, or sit by the waterfall admiring shapeless soft water carving their way through hard rocks and reach their destination. By the time I left China, I was in a senior management position practicing water-life leadership. But to the core, I was still a tiger, a water tiger, because I saw things through a tiger's eye, although I wasn't aware of that at the time. My life in New Zealand started with a completely cultural shock, much greater than I had prepared myself for. My world shrunk into a small circle and covered in darkness. I felt myself going blind and deaf because I couldn't understand what people were talking about. Occasionally, a few familiar sentences came to me, just like the sun cutting through the clouds and shed some light for me. Painfully, I realized that my knowledge level was brought down to the kindergarten because I can't communicate intellectually. I therefore set up a plan for myself to focus on applied language in New Zealand context. I watched Shortland Street, Coronation Street for daily conversation. I kept my colleagues' email and memos to learn crafting words professionally. I joined the book club and Toastmaster to practice public speaking. And I read children's book and a history book to catch up with the significant events and the memes that people often refer to in their conversations. Among those years, when I was recharging myself, I relearned 2 critical skills of leadership. Listen. In Chinese, listen has 6 parts. There are 3 of those are ear, eye, heart, and the other 3 are metaphorical numbers, 9, 10, and 1. So to listen properly, one shall use 9 ears, 10 eyes, and a whole heart. Second is empathy. My migrant life put me in various positions which made me to see and feel things from others' perspective. Not only just from tiger's eye, but also from dragons, ox, and the rats. The more I learn, the more unknown area opens up to me, and this can be very scary. Towards the end of last year, I felt I have reached my limit. I hit my ceiling and started to wonder whether leadership path is an option for me in New Zealand. Then I saw this program. It spoke to my mind. I put my hand up and convinced my manager to put me on this program. Over the last few months, I learned a lot from you all. But what benefits me most is the conversation around vulnerability and authenticity in leadership. quote, "To be authentic, we must cultivate the courage to be imperfect and vulnerable." And this transformed my mindset. I was able to acknowledge my English writing will never reach the same level as what I can achieve in Chinese, and that is okay. It is okay for me to be the manager who can't tell the difference between definite and indefinite articles, or describe whether I am in a toilet or on the toilet or at a toilet, because I have so many other strengths to bring to the table and benefit the team. I feel much more confident and competent now to pursue leadership pathway so I can make a difference to the community I belong to. Next step, I plan to learn Te Reo and explore Maori world of view to further develop my leadership in bicultural context of Aotearoa, New Zealand.